what would you say? I was thinking for myself, what would I say? What would you say to someone who is totally new to coaching and has now listened maybe to us or seen something? How to go about finding out more or exploring whether this is for them? What would you say to them?
Yeah, that's a good question. If somebody is sort of starting out, they've never had any coaching before, I would say speak to a few different coaches to find out who feels like the best fit. No coach is going to mind that. Any sort of good coach is not going to mind you speaking to a few different people. We're used to that. But I think, yes, finding out a bit about the coach, what kind of training they've had, what experience they have, and what their sort of specialisms are. Because although in theory, we can coach anybody, we do sort of tend to gravitate towards the areas that fit best with us. So and also as well, just being aware that there are professional bodies, although coaching isn't regulated, there are professional coaching bodies. So they often have directories as well of coaches. So you can find coaches in lots of different places through social media, and then contacting them to ask for a call through one of the sort of professional bodies. There are lots of coaching directories as well. And I think just doing a bit of homework and finding out a bit about the coach before making a decision. You might meet one coach and think, actually, this is the right person for me, and that's fine. But it might be that you want to speak to a few different people first and just find out a bit more about them and how they think that they can help you. I think it's also useful as well that if you are thinking of finding a coach, having an idea in your mind of what you want to achieve. You might not know exactly how it's going to go, because things very often change as someone goes through the coaching process, but at least having an idea in your mind of what you want from a coach, and also how you want them to support you and to also guide you through the process. So yeah, I think finding out as much as possible about the person that you think you might be choosing is really important. Is there anything that you'd add to that or not agree with?
No, it's a very comprehensive list, and I would have said all of the what you've mentioned. Maybe talk to some other people that have had coaching to hear it from their perspective as well. I might add that if you know someone in your environment that would have experienced good coaching before, so they can say from their perspective what you might expect. But also more your own mindset, probably having an open mind and being ready to talk about things you might find a bit more difficult. Although, having said that, some people might feel a bit nervous about that. You control the contents, as we've said before, and it might take you a few sessions to open up, which is absolutely fine. Or you might never want to discuss certain elements. And again, that's fine to say to your coach, I don't want to go there. I want to discuss this. I think those would be the two I would add.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, because getting a recommendation is quite often how people come to coaching in the first place. So yes, if you know somebody who has had a coach before and has had a good experience, then that could be a really good place to start, because it can be a bit of a minefield. There are so many coaches out there. It's like, how do you know which one to choose? But if you do know somebody who's experienced coaching before and has had a good experience and really benefited from it, then that can be a really good place to start.